Hi guys, welcome to another video. Today we're going to be doing Anthony Michael Hall's top 10 best movies. His name is really Michael Anthony Hall, but he reversed his first and middle names because there was already an actor going by Michael Hall at the time. It was a good decision. Anthony Michael Hall has a good ring to it. He's also a very talented actor who started off as a teen star, but through hard work he was able to reinvent himself and stay relevant in the business for over 40 years. There's a few films I'd like to mention before we get started. I just missed the list. Those films are War Machine and The Dark Knight. Both good films, but his part was just too small, especially in The Dark Knight. Also, he did an episode for my favorite show, Tales from the Crypt, Season 5, Episode 9, called Creep Course. And a quick mention for the show, The Dead Zone, which he did. I love that show. It's fantastic. And lastly, I'd like to mention that Hall almost got cast in a lead role for Full Metal Jacket. He was in negotiations with Kubrick for over 8 months, but they couldn't come to terms on the dollar amount. The role went to Matthew Modine instead. Now time for the list. So sit back, relax, let the show begin. Now number 10 is Out of Bounds. Released in 1986 and directed by Richard Toggle. During this period, Hall was trying to shed the geek label, and after a year doing Saturday Night Live with his good buddy Robert Downey Jr., he returned to doing movies. Hall tried to become more of a badass during this film. I also think the fame was starting to get to him a bit. It was said that Hall hardly spoke to the cast and crew and feuded with the director on how to play his character. All in all, Out of Bounds is a decent little hidden gem. It's a simple story about a kid who grabs the wrong bag at the airport. The bag is filled with drugs, and Hall is on the run from the drug dealers and the cops. I like the Los Angeles filming locations. The soundtrack is fun, and I think Anthony Michael Hall did a great job considering all the stuff going on behind the scenes. Out of Bounds is worth at least one watch. And number 9 is Pirates of Silicon Valley. Released in 1999 and directed by Martin Burke, this was a TV movie that aired on TNT. It tells the real-life story of Steve Jobs and Bill Gates. Anthony Michael Hall plays that twerp Gates to a T. Anytime I hear or see the real-life Bill Gates, I want to vomit. He's nothing more than a two-faced backstabber, and he's even applying that same method in his quest to own all farmland in the U.S., turning the food industry into a full-throttled corporation. But anyways, back to the movie. It's a very well done, and Hall's performance along with Noah Weil as Steve Jobs is an experience not to be missed. Number 8 is Johnny Be Good. Released in 1988 and directed by Bud S. Smith. I grew up renting this one all the time. I love it. It wasn't a box office hit, and it got mixed reviews, but I'll always love this one. It's got a fun cast with Robert Downey Jr., Uma Thurman in one of her first films, and Paul Gleason, who reunites again with Hall after appearing in The Breakfast Club together. Anthony Michael Hall and Robert Downey Jr. remain great friends still to this day. They appear in 3 films together. This film, Weird Science, and Hail Caesar, which Hall also directed. Johnny Be Good is about a top football prospect who is being persuaded by a bunch of different colleges to join their team. Not many people like this movie, but I love it. It's a fun late 80s comedy with a solid soundtrack. My number 7 is Halloween Kills. Released in 2021 and directed by David Gordon Green. I really enjoyed this film. I thought it was way better than the 2018 release. Halloween Kills is a fun ride, and it was a nice surprise to see Hall playing Tommy. I thought they could have used him a bit better, and it was sad to see him die at the end. I would have liked to see him come back for Halloween Ends. Other than that, this film is awesome. Michael looks fantastic, the kills were great, and the music by John Carpenter along with Cody Carpenter and Daniel Davies is legendary. I love the flashback scene. The color correction is phenomenal. It really looked and felt like 1978. Halloween Kills is a very solid entry in the franchise. Number 6 is 61. Released in 2001 and directed by Billy Crystal. This film is a masterpiece. Of course, the film is dominated by the performances of Thomas Jane and Barry Pepper playing Mickey Mantle and Roger Maris on their quest to beat Babe Ruth's home run record. Anthony Michael Hall plays pitcher Whitey Ford. Does a great job in his supporting role. It's truly an amazing film. Billy Crystal really delivered. It's probably my favorite baseball film of all time. It's hard to say for sure, but it's so damn incredible. Now number 5 is Vacation. Released in 1983 and directed by Harold Ramis, and also written by John Hughes. Anthony Michael Hall didn't meet John Hughes during production, but it wouldn't be long until they went on their legendary run together. Vacation is so much fun. There's so many hilarious scenes. I think my favorite is when Chase is dancing with a sandwich to impress Christy Brinkley. Woo! Good times. The cast all around is perfect. The adventure from Chicago to LA is a blast. And all the obstacles they encounter along the way to Wally World will have you dying with laughter. Christmas Vacation is my favorite one in the series, but the original isn't far behind. It's a classic. Number 4 is 16 Candles. Released in 1984 and directed by John Hughes, this is where it all began for Anthony Michael Hall and Molly Ringwald. Supposedly Jim Carrey auditioned for the role as the geek, but Hall got the gig and the legendary run has begun. It's a fun film with an amazing cast of young actors. It's got a great story and an awesome 80s soundtrack. The film has received some flack over the years for some of its character depictions. To those people complaining, I say get a grip and laugh a little. You may live longer. Number 3 is Weird Science. Released in 1985 and directed by John Hughes, this film is every teenage boy's fantasy. I love this film. It's so ridiculous, but it's awesome. Hall was going to reprise his role in European Vacation, but he ended up choosing the lead role in Weird Science instead. He's so funny, especially the bar scene. The cast is great all around. Kelly LeBrock originally turned down the role, but then she decided to do it when the other actress they hired didn't work out. LeBrock was born for this role, and the late great Bill Paxton is an absolute genius. This film is a wild ride, but well worth it. It's a childhood favorite of mine. Anthony Michael Hall, Elan Mitchell Smith, and Kelly LeBrock have done some reunions in recent years. You can find those videos on YouTube. Number 2 is Edward Scissorhands. Released in 1990 and directed by Tim Burton. What an unbelievably imaginative film. This, for me, is where Anthony Michael Hall really transformed himself. He was so convincing as an asshole. I definitely didn't see him as a geek anymore. It's also kind of funny that Tim Burton would actually hire a former geek to play that kind of role. It was a genius casting move. Edward Scissorhands is a beautiful film, one of the most unique experiences of all time. Hall said in an interview that even though he didn't have any scenes with Vincent Price, it still amazes him that he got to be a part of a film with Vincent Price. Sadly, it was his last role, though. What a fantastic final role. The music by Danny Elfman is fantastic. He also wrote the song Weird Science with Oingo Boingo for the film Weird Science. Edward Scissorhands is a brilliant film. Number 1 is The Breakfast Club. Released in 1985 and directed by John Hughes. I love this film so much. Right from the opening credits, while Don't You Forget About Me is playing and we're being introduced to our main cast, I'm hooked instantly. Originally, the song was written for Billy Idol, but he declined. Simple Minds didn't want to do it either at first, but they ended up saying yes, and it became their biggest song ever. Emilio Estevez, Molly Ringwald, Judd Nelson, Anthony Michael Hall, and Ali Sheedy all have great chemistry. And Paul Gleason is the icing on the cake. I love the one location. There's something fascinating about wandering around an empty school on the weekend. John Hughes really delivered a timeless classic. This film never gets old. Anyways, that's the list, guys. Let me know what you think. Thanks for watching. Take care. Bye.
You gonna get it, bitch. Damn enchiladas!